So how was your day today?
It was good. I finished up Christmas shopping and I'm having the family over for Christmas Eve and Christmas dinner. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I went to a toy drive hosted by L for Lupus in downtown or Old Town Sacramento. And it was amazing to get in that spirit and with the kids. I met an assemblyman and then I came here. So I had a great day, honestly.
Oh, so you had a full jam-packed day. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I respect it. So Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
Everybody in the family gets something from Marissa, or is this like your favorites? I'm being messy right now. I'm being messy.
So I have 3 sisters, and we decided this year we're going to do Secret Santas. So we all just have to get our Secret Santa one gift, basically.
Okay.
But everyone else, I got everyone a gift. And, okay, I used to be like, screw Walmart. I'm not doing that. But, you know, I have some big expenses coming up. So I have to budget. You know how that is.
Yeah.
And I went to Walmart for the first time to go Christmas shopping. So if
Right.
anyone's listening,
Walmart.
they have, yes.
Okay.
You know, I got everyone gifts, and the total came out less than $200, and they're nice too.
All right, shout out to
Yeah.
Walmart.
Yeah.
Big Walmart shopper. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said you went to an event, L for Lupus.
L for Lupus. So,
Is that something like you take part in on a regular, or was this like something for the holidays?
so one of my best friends runs L for Lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune disease, and so she puts on these events, and this event just happened to be a gift drive, which is really nice.
Does she do these events a lot? Like,
Oh yeah.
you should contact me about that.
I will.
My mother has lupus.
Really?
Yeah, so I would love to join and contribute to that.
Yes,
Yeah.
the events are amazing. She does walks, a thing called Miami Nights, which is like everyone who's a part of that community comes together. She puts on a huge gala for them. It's amazing. Yeah.
I'm about to tap in with that. Okay.
Shout out L for Lupus.
Is that the hand sign?
Yeah, this
Oh,
is the hand
gang?
sign.
The gang? Oh, okay. Gang.
Yeah.
Shout out to L for Lupus. So we met
Yes.
at Tiger.
Yes.
I was doing my street interviews,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe we were on I guess you could say the porch or the balcony of Tiger,
Yeah.
whatever it's called, the front. And I was just doing interviews, ran into you. It was your birthday.
Yes.
And
August 6th.
Yeah, shout out to the birthday girl.
Leo gang.
On God. So I did an interview with you, and then you told me you were releasing a book,
Yes.
and I was like, oh yeah, we gotta tell me a little about your book, and we ended up speaking about your book, right?
Yes.
Fast forward to today,
Mm-hmm.
the book is out.
Yes.
Congratulations!
Thank
I just want to start off the interview with that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Because I don't know personally, but I've heard the process to writing a book and publishing it is like, it's a long one.
Yes.
But before we get into that,
Yes.
can you tell us who Marissa Hardy is?
There has been so many different versions of Marissa Hardy. I feel like I'm on my 3rd or 4th life.
Okay.
I love all of them. I love me, and not in a vain way, but in an embracing, I'm a woman. I went through these trials and tribulations, and here I am. And so Marissa Hardy, she is down to earth. I am down to earth. I love nature. I love sports. I love connecting with people. I love working hard. I'm an A-type personality. So when I text you right at 7 o'clock, I'm outside. Like, that's
where
me.
you at. Right.
And encompass. I gifted myself a mop this year for Christmas.
Okay,
It's my
shout
thing.
Shout out to the mop. Hey, shout out to the mop.
It's a spin mop. I mopped my house already 3 times since I got it. I got it last week.
Putting that thing to use, huh?
Yes.
Okay, I heard that.
Definitely. I would say I have a big heart. The season of life that I'm in right now is being brave and pushing myself to do things that make me feel uncomfortable.
Ooh, we getting into it already. We just got started.
Yeah.
Okay, can we go back?
Yes.
So, where are you from?
I am from Roseville, California.
Are you from up the way? That's Rose. I'm like, that's kind of 30 minutes, 35 minutes from here.
Yes.
Okay, so how was it like growing up in Roseville?
Roseville, it was nice. You know, my parents worked really, really hard to get us in a nice community over there. Me and my 3 sisters, they had a bakery and everything in Sacramento, right by El Camino High. I liked growing up in Roseville for the aspect before it was like more underdeveloped. So there was a lot of land and space. Like my favorite thing to do as a kid was like play in the meadows. And like me and my sisters would play this game called Bridge to Terabithia. Like we'd like play in the
Bridge
meadow.
to what?
Bridge to Terabithia. You know the book in the movie?
Nah, I don't even know how to pronounce that word.
It's kind of nerdy, but
Okay,
that was
okay.
our vibe. Riding four-wheelers and just catching tadpoles and whatnot.
Oh, so you was an outside girl.
Yeah, I was outside.
Okay, and I know you mentioned you said you like sports too.
Yeah.
What sport did you play?
I played soccer, track, volleyball, and basketball, but soccer was my number one.
Oh, you was outside for real. You played. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at pictures of me when I was younger, I'm like 10 shades darker because I was always outside.
in the sun.
Yes.
I heard that. So growing up in Roseville, I know Roseville is a predominantly.
Yes.
You already know where I'm going.
Yes.
It's a predominantly white neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you: Are you mixed?
Yes. So my mother she's white, but she's Native American, German, and Swedish, and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
A melting pot.
The
And
list continues.
my dad's Black, Irish, German, Native American.
A Black Irishman.
Yes, he has green eyes.
That's crazy. His name is Bill O'Reilly.
No, his name's Eugene.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was that like growing up in Roseville?
Well, in that aspect, I mean, we started out in Citrus Heights, but most of my childhood and adolescence was in Roseville.
Right.
And so it wasn't until high school where I realized that I was different because I had a white mom, a Black dad, cousins on both sides, and it was just like family. That's love. Like,
Right.
It wasn't that we didn't see color. It was like, that just wasn't like, I'm going to treat you different or come up with a racist nickname for you.
Right.
I distinctly remember, in the third grade, I got tripped because I was faster than everyone.
Yeah, you ran track and played soccer.
Yeah, and they tripped me on the blacktop, and I got a hematoma on my head. Like I couldn't go to school. Like my forehead's already pretty big, but it was like this. Like it was crazy, right? And then when I got to high school, some girls started calling me like, "Hey, Black girl." Like that was my nickname.
Black girl.
Yes.
A nickname.
That was their nickname for me. Yeah.
Damn. So it was multiple people calling you that.
It was like a group of girls. There was one who primarily called me that, and like a few others. Yeah.
So how did that make you feel?
I don't think I was in tune enough to understand like where that was coming from.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was too consumed with sports and what I was doing in my life that I was just like, whatever.
All right. So did you play sports like your whole high school career? I guess you could say.
I stopped playing sports my junior year of high school. I tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus, and flipped my patella tendon. And
So you didn't have a knee.
Yeah, so they had to basically take my hamstring muscle. I didn't want to get a cadaver, which is like from a dead body. So
Yeah.
they took my hamstring muscle and filled in those parts.
Man.
But I played soccer in college at American River.
Okay. Yeah. I have a similar background. I also did play sports. I ran track, football, basketball. I played baseball up until high school, and I did do soccer.
Oh, really?
But
What position?
I don't even remember because I was in elementary school.
Okay.
I stopped playing soccer to play football because it was around the same season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
So-
Marissa, high school,
Yes.
play sports.
Yes.
What was your high school experience like outside of the sports?
I'm going to get a sip of water.
Uh-oh.
We're about to get into it.
We get into it? All right, I'm with that.
Well, sophomore year was the very first time that I was like sexually assaulted and I had to fight someone off of me. And that was really difficult because I thought they were a friend. And I had told one friend about it because I didn't know what happened. I didn't even know. The Me Too movement never even started till like, it didn't get popular till 2017. So back in 2013, like I didn't know what happened. So I told one friend trying to make sense of it. And then a game of telephone went through the high school and another high school and Twitter. And basically I was being called a liar and a slut and a whore and all of these things. And it was really traumatic. I got bullied pretty bad for that. And I didn't understand anything. Like I was so confused and so hurt, and no one had ever asked me if I was okay. In that same year, my parents had split up because of what had happened and with me. And so I put the blame of my parents' divorce on myself for a long time. This is only sophomore year.
Wait. Let's go back. So that traumatic experience happened.
Yeah.
And then you ended up getting bullied for it.
Yes.
Because you had told a friend.
Yes.
And it got around.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming that they made it like you were, I guess, trying to have sex with him, and you were the promiscuous one.
No, I had told my friend that like I leg pressed him off of me. Basically, I had strong legs. I was playing a lot of sports. I leg pressed this boy off of me. And I told my friend that, and he was like, "You're trying to make me out to seem this." Like the perpetrator, right? The perp. Yeah. He came down on me hard and bullied me so hard, and was like rallying people on Twitter to like bully me. And this is when I was on Twitter. It was very popular in 2013.
Twitter was popular in 2013.
Yeah, and it was really tough. I remember I went to soccer practice, and like my teammates were talking about some girl like that lied about being sexually assaulted, and I like walk up. And I was trying to gain some control of the situation. I go, "Oh yeah, that's me." And they just kind of looked me up and down. And soccer, that totally broke me, because soccer was the one place, like that was my safe space. I was a leader. I was the captain of that team. Like that's where I thrived. And I could get out any frustration or hurt or pain and also bring people together. So for that to happen to me, it just completely crushed me. Yeah, it was... You see why I took a sip of water?
Yeah, I need a sip of a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so did that kind of affect you moving forward in your everyday life?
Well, definitely, because I lost a lot of friends. I was a straight A student. I was a part of clubs and sports, and that just kind of all fell apart, because the same week that bullying happened, my mother left my father. Yeah. And so I was dealing with a lot at once and didn't know how to make sense of it. And I lost that relationship with my father. And so the second half of my junior year, I was kind of yearning for a father figure. And I talk about this in the book. And it's like that energy that you put out, it attracts wolves. Like if you're a young girl and you're seeking a father figure. And I always encourage any of my friends who have children, specifically men, I'm like, be there for your daughters, like, because you're going to raise women, and you're so important in this community. And so I was yearning for a father figure, and a wolf in sheep's clothing basically groomed me, and that would lead into another part of my book. The very first time that
let's go back. Let's take it back. So I know you mentioned that your parents had split, and you blamed yourself for it.
Yeah.
How? Because I don't understand. I don't know what happened. Yeah. So how does that correlate?
Because when my dad found out that I had a boy over, it was my friend. He was walking home. It was like 100 degrees. I was like, "Yeah, you could stop by for a glass of water." When my dad found out that I had a boy over, he was most upset about that, and he slapped me in the face. Just popped me. But I'd never been hit before. Yeah. And it popped my jaw at a place, and I pissed my pants, and I ran to my mom, and that was like enough for my mom to just protect me.
Got you. So I'm assuming that's never happened before, being that you were terrified enough to, urinate on yourself. So it was like a shock for not only you, but for your mother, and that's what caused the split. Yes. It
was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Okay, that's... Okay.
This is a vulnerable podcast.
Yeah, no. We're here for you. Okay. So, after that happens, you said you blamed yourself?
Yes.
Why?
Because we left that week for that reason. So, it was from A to B, you now C, me and my mom are in this apartment by ourselves,
You don't think that had anything to do with the actions of your father?
Well, I did blame myself. Until recently.
Got it.
Yes. Got it. I had growth and everything like that, yeah.
So the split happens, and then now we are is all three sisters?
Two
living?
older sisters were out of the house in college. So I was like the oldest in the house, and then my younger sister.
So it was you and your younger sister having with your mother.
Mm-hmm.
So how was that transition?
I honestly don't remember too much of it. I kind of have like a little trauma brain. Just I was trying to survive and make sense of the situation because a lot had happened in a week. It was a bad week. It was a bad week.
It was a lot.
I got to check the moon signs on that week because it was horrible.
So from there,
Yeah.
we're growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful young lady growing up. Where does our journey go after that?
So, like I said, I was yearning for a father figure. A wolf in sheep's clothing came into my life, and I'll leave that for the book. I don't want to really bring that to the podcast.
Don't give us too much.
That really derailed me and led me into graduating high school, coping with drugs and alcohol.
Got it.
Yeah, and so and it was just for fun. Like I was just having fun. Like I look back on those days, I was young and having fun with my friends. I didn't know that I was coping with drugs and alcohol.
Right.
That's just what I've come to learn. Yeah.
And I'm assuming you were introduced to that through another person.
Just kind of being in the scene.
In the scene?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being in the scene.
Like the party scene, or just like
being in the house party scene, the party scene.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
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 I remember those days.
Yeah.
All right. So from there, drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
party scene. Where do we end up after that?
So I started traveling a lot. I mean, I was in college for, the fall and spring semesters, but summertime I would go to New York, the Hamptons. I had a boyfriend at the time that lived out there. I went to Switzerland, Portugal. I was just a world traveler, having the time of my life. And the drinking and partying wasn't so bad, but, if I'm going out in another country, I'm definitely drinking a lot, So I had a very full life. From like 19 to 21. It was a lot of fun. I was going to school, playing soccer, partying a lot, and traveling a lot. But it was a lot of fun. I look back on it, I'm like, okay, she was doing her thing. But I just wasn't focused, and I lacked the self-awareness.
Got it.
Yeah.
A lot of people lack self-awareness. I lack self-awareness myself. I just go and go and go and go and go and don't realize what's really going on around me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that you speak, I don't want to bring this topic in, you speak heavy on, let's say, mental health. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
So as you were traveling and you were partying, where were you mentally?
I would say I was reaching for a personality or something that I wanted to be that I wasn't. So that's where I was mentally, out of my body. Not actually out of my mind, but not. I would say right now I'm very in my body, in my essence. And back then you could probably find my essence on over there. Like I was reaching, I was being someone that who I wasn't, someone that I couldn't fulfill. And it was a very fast life, party lifestyle, yeah.
Got it. So, let me ask you, do you think you have an addictive personality?
Yes, I do. And actually, I've talked to my friend about this. We've said we flipped that addiction on its head. So I used to be addicted to drugs, attention, alcohol, all of that, right? And now I'm addicted to working hard, self-improvement, my relationships with friends and family, cleaning. I mop 3 times in 1 week.
The mop would go
yeah,
crazy.
I am very, so I've kind of flipped it on its head. I'm like, okay, if I have this, what I felt was an insecurity and a weakness, how can I make it a strength? And so I feel I have done that pretty well the last 2.5 years since I've been clean from drugs and alcohol.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
on
you.
that, by the way. Still fucking alive.
Yes.
The true story of transforming from a victim and a survivor to a fighter.
Yes.
That's a hell of a title.
Thank you.
That's a hell of a fucking title. I love it. I love it. If I had my sound effects, I would give the round of applause. Yeah. So, what does that title mean to you?
It means a lot. It holds a lot. So I'll tell you actually where I got the title from. Right before I had attempted suicide. I had an experience on the other side. I had died, had an experience on the other side. I went from seeing the light to waking up and seeing hospital fluorescent lights. And my first words, and this came out of anger, was, I'm still fucking alive. I was upset because I had just gone from seeing the light and feeling safe and forgiven and pure to just back in my body. And the feeling of being stuck on earth and rejected from the other side is a feeling I'll never forget, but I understand it just wasn't my time, which I'm so grateful for. So those were my first words waking up. When I went to rehab, every day, I had no pulse. The EMT...
Like you flatlined.
Yes. And I shouldn't be here. I should have problems. I should have to be on medication. None of that. So when I went to rehab, every morning before I would go in the kitchen and make the house breakfast. That was my job. I was a cook at rehab. I would run 3 miles on the treadmill. And it was one morning I ran my fastest 3 miles. And I kind of did a mental body scan. And I go, man, nothing's wrong with me. I'm still fucking alive. And then it hit me. I'm still here. After everything I've been through, after hating myself, destroying myself, abusing myself, and putting myself in situations, I'm still here. I made it on the other side. And it totally was that moment where I was like, I need to write a book. I know I'm not the only one who's felt like this. Right. So that's where that comes from. The main title, Still Fucking Alive. Transforming from a victim to a survivor to a fighter was the victimhood. I was a true victim with the grooming and the rape and the sexual assault. Right. But I held on to victimhood and that identity, which led into drinking and using and partying and having no self-worth or self-respect. The survivor was surviving, the mental illness that I put myself through. And the fighter is what you see now.
I'm gonna just give you a round of applause right there.
Thank you.
That's one hell of a title. I'll give you that. Okay, so let's go back. I know you said, and let me know if this is something that you don't want to talk about or if it's in the book. The suicide attempt.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's in the book. Mm-hmm. Without giving so much away, what kind of led up to that point?
Well, I was using a lot of cocaine, and I feel it's important to talk about this because I know it is very much a trend in a lot of communities and a lot of party
Especially
scenes.
In Sacramento.
So there's this thing called a drug-induced psychosis, which can happen when you mix mushrooms and psychedelics of any kind, LSD, DMT, mushrooms with cocaine, or just either one of them. You can slip into a drug-induced psychosis, which is like a form of schizophrenia and derealization. I had slipped into a drug-induced psychosis. And with that, I began to not recognize myself. And the night that I attempted suicide was I walked into my bathroom, I looked in the mirror, and all I saw was the last 8 years of addiction and suffering and pain I put myself through. And I just go, I'm ready to end it. I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of being impure. I'm tired of this life. What I didn't realize, I didn't want to kill myself. I wanted to kill the addiction, the habits, the bad relationships, all that I was embodying. And so that's also why I still get emotional. I've talked about this.
Don't be sorry.
I've talked about this plenty of times, but it's in my heart. So most people, what I've come to realize, talking with suicide survivors and families who have been affected by suicide, most people have felt the same way that I felt. They don't actually want to kill themselves. They just want to kill off those parts of themselves. So that night, I attempted suicide, and I died. And luckily, the EMT, this is a wonderful, do you know what string theory is?
I heard about it. I've heard about DMT. I've seen people that that take it and they be like talking about angels and numbers and lines.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, but when you abuse it, you know, plant medicine and those psychedelics are beautiful, but when you abuse it, it cannot be so helpful.
Okay, so what was that like on that side? Do you remember?
Yeah, I write about it in the book.
Okay,
It's my favorite part of the book.
We'll leave that for the book.
Yeah, and let me just say, I came in contact with someone, I was rooted on the other side, and it is so real, and it is so lovely, and it is so promising and forgiving, and it is a love I've never felt before. Like, I've told friends and family, like, sometimes I miss it, like, you can miss a person. Like, I have felt that presence, and nothing on this planet has felt like that, but it reminds me of why I want to be a strong woman and have kids and a beautiful family and just bring people together and let them know, like, whatever you feel awful about yourself inside, whatever insecurities that you have, you were made wonderfully, you were made perfectly in God's image, and your purpose on this life is much bigger than you could ever imagine.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
So you said God's image. So you do believe in God.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like that feeling that you felt, that presence that you felt on the other side, was the presence of God or some type of entity that we may call God?
So I actually came in contact with someone that I know that has passed on the other side. So it was as real as me and you talking right now. And I write about that in the book. I did not meet God. I did not. But everything around me, the feeling and the light behind it, you could feel the presence of. So, you know, I don't necessarily know if, you know, it's one man or one energy, but all I know is that it's real and it's present, and it works in everyone's lives. So you just have to tap into it and believe in it.
Got it. Amen to that.
Yeah.
So, recovery.
Mm-hmm.
After the incident, after the attempt, from the hospital, where do you go?
So I went to the psych ward. Grippy socks and gray sweatpants, and I still have my gray sweatpants. I wear them sometimes. Like, if I ever need inspiration to write, I'll put them on, and it puts me back in this space that reminds me to be humble and have humility. Like, I'll never forget that part of myself. Those were my favorite gray sweatpants. But yeah, I went to the psych ward. It was definitely an experience. Very eye-opening.
Yeah.
And when I was in there, I was like, you know what? I don't belong here, but I am here. And something's got to change. At that point, I still didn't think I had a problem. I just thought I was still in victimhood in that moment.
Right.
You know? And so when I got out of the psych ward, the person who came to pick me up was someone that I had a very toxic relationship with, and that should have been most angry with me. You know, I was down in LA, and he had embraced me and showed me a love in that moment that was like, whoa, this person who I have been abusive with and toxic with loves me more than I love myself. And that's when I knew I needed to change.
Mm.
Yeah.
When you say love, what do you mean by that? Because I know you said toxic relationship and love.
Yeah.
What does that look like in that relationship?
In that relationship, it was just, in that moment, they were there for me. Nothing else mattered except that I was safe and alive, and they were not happy to see me. It was just the embrace of it,
Right.
You know, and I felt it. It was a feeling. So, yeah.
Was that what's the word I'm looking for? Was that the young Marissa who was looking for that father figure back when you said earlier?
No, this was 23-year-old Marissa who was just in relationship after relationship after relationship.
Got it. So when around what time or what age, I guess you could say, no, that's not the age. Around what time did we say we started to pick ourselves up and start to realize after that moment with the relationship, we started to realize that I have to change? And what did you do to change?
It was about when I was in rehab, so I knew my mom had picked me up basically from my apartment in Hollywood, and seeing her worry and like, okay, what are we gonna do with Marissa now? She just attempted suicide, you know, like, what do we do? I was like, okay, I have to put myself somewhere safe so my mom doesn't have the responsibility of me, because it's gonna stress her out way too much.
Right.
So I started looking for rehabs, and I did that for my mom. It wasn't for myself at that time. I just wanted to put myself somewhere safe so she didn't have to worry about me.
Right.
It was when I was in rehab and I was quarantined with 2 other girls that I was like, okay, like, I can do this. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna surrender to it. And that was the first time I ever really embodied and heard the word surrender. And I was just, let go of control, let go of the labels, let go of anything that's happened to you, and just surrender to this experience. And that was it. I didn't care if I did my best. I didn't care if I did my worst. All I was there was just to be at that rehab, and surrendering myself was one of the most impactful pieces of my journey. You know, during that time, I learned, I didn't even know what the word self-worth was when I went to rehab. Like when we had a therapy group session and the counselor said, I'm like, what is that? And then I learned about self-respect and all of these things. And I'm like, okay, if I have self-worth and self-respect, why am I going to be shoving my nose with cocaine? Not judging anyone, but I was doing it in copious amounts, and to fill a void that could have been done spiritually and emotionally by myself.
When you were in LA, did you do any like industry work, as in like acting, singing, dancing, modeling?
I tried, but I was too wrapped up in the party lifestyle.
Yeah, because I lived in LA for a while.
Okay.
And I've experienced nothing of the magnitude that you experienced, but I've seen it, and I've heard stories of how LA, it could be a very tempting place. And even when I go now, like, having living there for 8 years myself, and then come back to Sacramento, living here 3 years, 3 or 4 years that I've been here. When I go there, I get kind of like antsy, because I feel the energy that LA has. Have you been back to LA since your recovery?
Actually, I have, and I promised myself when I left rehab, I said, I'm not coming back here until I have a purpose or a reason. Yeah. And that's the promise I made. I'm not going back there for vacation, nothing. Just if I have purpose, reason, or business. And the first time I went back there, one of my really good friends, he's a producer, he shot the promotion for my book. He picked me up from the airport, we got breakfast. He was like, I'm so proud of you, like, let's go do this. And I got a crazy story, you wanna hear it?
Yeah, I do. I do wanna hear it, actually.
I got a lot of crazy stories, but this was really crazy. So we rented out a space in downtown LA. You know, we picked the time and the day, like, you know, you don't know why you're doing things, but then they just happen. We filmed the promo for my book. This was on September 7th. And right when we finished, I go, and done. We hear do-do-do-do-do-do-do on the side of the building. What was that? I thought it was someone dancing upstairs. He goes, I think that was a body. So mind you, my book is about addiction, recovery, surviving suicide. We look out the window. Some lady had just jumped from the building.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I wasn't scared. We ran down right away. I was about to do CPR on her. He pulled me back by my shirt and goes, you're about, he goes, there's fucking brains on the ground. I almost stepped, she was gone. I couldn't do CPR on her. When we got in the car after that, we packed up right away, gave a statement to the police, left. And then we took a deep breath. We had to go through those emotions. That's when I knew that I don't know what she was going through, but I knew my purpose in this life is to get my message out there, because I'm like, dang, did I happen to see her like in the elevator? Like, should I have said something? Right. And so that was just kind of confirmation for me. Like, unfortunate for her in that experience, but I'm on the right path in the sense of what I'm doing with my work and my book and my message.
All right, so that was a crazy story. Yeah, that was definitely a lot. Mm-hmm. So I know previously you mentioned like you only go back to LA for business, purpose. I saw on your Instagram. Yeah. You went back to the rehab house. Yeah. That you were staying in. Tell us a little bit about that moment.
That was so surreal. I got out of the car right away and I looked up to the window where my room was, and I just saw that self that would just sit in that window and look out and wonder what was going to happen or where I would be in life. And I just sent that version of myself so much love and like was like, we made it. Like, we made it. Yeah. So that was very surreal. And then seeing all of the counselors was so joyous.
They were all still there?
Yes. I texted all of them. I said, I'm pulling up.
I'm pulling up.
Yeah.
So that person, is that the person who was writing the book?
I journaled a lot when I was in rehab, and that was just to journal through that moment. And I love that version of myself so much.
Was that the victim, survivor, or the fighter?
That was going from victim to survivor. Like, okay, we're in a safe place. Like, how do we move forward?
So, journaling, did that inspire you to write the book? Or was that something just like, I'm just doing this to get my mind clear?
So Carmelo in the book, who I dedicated my book to.
Shout out to Carmelo.
Well, that's not his real name. That's just his character name.
Okay.
His real name's Josh.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh. We love Josh.
We love Josh.
Yes. He gave me 2 brown journals, leather, for Christmas in 2021. And he said, I want you to write your story. And yeah.
What a hell of a gift.
And
to
I
give
did.
Somebody for Christmas.
I hand wrote it. I wrote 5 pages a day. I hand wrote the whole book in 2 leather brown journals. It was 150 pages each. Wrote every day. And when I was done, he was like, all right, now what are you going to do now? You're going to type it up. I typed it up. And then after that, I was like, okay, what route do I want to go? Do I want to go with a publisher or do I want to self-publish? And at this point, I'm loving the idea of having a future, which I didn't before. So I'm excited. And the role model that I'm modeling my career after, because they're so inspiring and who I grew up with, is Tyler Perry. He owns everything everything. He owns all of his rights to everything, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I want to own the rights to my book, because if this gets made into a movie, 10 years from now, and that's my goal, is I want to own the rights to this movie. I want to own creative rights. I want to be directing, acting, producing. So that's why I self-published.
Okay. She said, I'm about to flex one time. I'm about to do all of that. And it's crazy. You are actually right on the right path.
Yes.
You are on the right path to doing that. And I can see that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm excited we got to sit down and talk to you with this.
Yeah.
Okay. So the victim going into the survivor is the one who's writing this.
Yes.
I mean, of course, I feel like this is an obvious question for me, but I want to ask anyway. What kept you going and writing every day? 5 pages? That's a lot.
I went from having nothing when I went to rehab. Like I said, I was in psychosis. I blew all my savings in a weekend. Like, I had nothing when I was in rehab. And so I was building back my life, and this was the first tangible thing and goal that I had that I was like, okay, like, I can do this. Like, I have a fresh start. Like, this is what I'm doing. You have your podcast. This is what you're doing. I was going to write 5 pages a day. That's what I'm doing. I had no idea I was writing the book. I didn't know that I was going to self-publish it. I didn't know that anybody was going to read it. I didn't know that I was going to be right here talking to you.
Hello.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, and that's what I did every day. And it was good. I'm glad I did it.
We are too.
Thank you.
I will speak for me and the rest of the company, which is just my cousin over here. We are too. So, what's your favorite part of the book?
I have a lot of favorite parts. So,
don't give us it all. Just
Okay.
give us one, because they got to get that. They got to go cop that book.
Okay, my favorite part of the book is the moment when I describe my NDE, my near-death experience, which is a phenomenon that happens to people who die and come back to life and have an experience on the other side. That is my absolute favorite part of the book, because one, not to gas myself up. The way I
Nah, gas yourself up. We're here to gas you up. Gas you up, girl.
the way I wrote it was totally from the heart and that experience, and it almost is so unreal to other people, but it's so real to me that it's like my hidden secret. And you know, I'm putting it out there, and I really, that's my favorite part. I could read it multiple times a day, again and again and again and again. And the most reason why it's my favorite part is because of the person that I saw and connected with on the other side, the lessons I learned, and the person that I was in that light, in that space. And I won't give too much away, but in that environment.
Right. It's just so crazy to me how, like, you could look at you and you look nothing like what you've been through. If that makes sense.
That's the point.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, even when I met you that night, it was your birthday, we was having fun. You was like, woo, I just you know, I got my book, it's coming out, this and that, and I was like, oh, okay. But as we followed your Instagram, and I was doing my due diligence and my journalism, I was like, yo, this is crazy. I would have never thought. And I kind of relate to you a little bit, as not as much on that side, but as far as I don't look like what I've been through, because I'm another person just like you. Well, I'm pretty sure every time I see you smiling, you're having a blast, you come off very like, not presentable, what's the word I'm looking for? Oscar, help me out, what's the word I'm looking for? You come off approachable is the word, very friendly, but for people who've been through what you've been through, you would think it would be the complete opposite, you know, like, kind of like, get away from me, I don't want to be around anybody, I don't trust people, I don't trust men, you know, so it's great to see someone, cause I can see a little bit of me in you, if that makes sense. Like, I can see that.
That's beautiful.
You hold something near, dear to your heart that you've been through, and then like your outer layer is just like, you're just gonna live life because we only got one.
And that's the purpose of being a fighter. I have chills right now because you are one too. And the reason why I have become obsessed with making sure I am approachable and I've kept my heart open and I am proud to be a fighter is because, let's say, you know, I've already done this before. I go into a rehab and I talk to these girls and I tell them everything that happened to me or everything that I did and what kind of person I was, and they see me standing there. I am an example of what could be. I am a light of hope. And that is why it is so important, the essence of a fighter, the spirit of a fighter. You become a fighter to become a better lover, a better friend. The two are a balance. Like, that's what I preach, you know.
Right. You have a spirit about you that's it's very affectious. Infectious, is that the word I'm looking for? Like it's gravitating because you just are. Like you said, if you were to stand in front of a room full of women who's been through that, you would be a great example for that.
Yes. I can relate to them because if I didn't, and I don't regret anything that's happened to me. I have forgiven every single man, person. I don't even think twice about it. I pray for them. I send them love. That's all you can do in this life. Because let me tell you, our job is not to judge others. Our only job on this earth is to forgive one another. You
better than me because I'm judging and I forgive easy.
I mean, it's good to have discernment. Yeah. It's very healthy to have discernment. Yeah. But I've always found recently, like anytime I catch myself judging someone, I don't know their story. How would I feel if someone judged me? There's a lot to judge. Trust me.
Understood.
Right.
All right. So to wrap it up, if you can give anybody any advice out there that may be going through something in their lives, what would that be?
Well, if you're watching this right now, let's take a deep breath together. If you have breath, you have options.
Well, damn, there it is.
There it is.
There it is. And where can people find your book?
They can find it on Amazon. If you go to my Instagram, I have a link in my bio, or you could just look it up under books. It's called Still Fucking Alive. My name's Marissa Hardy.
Okay. Round of applause for Marissa Hardy.
Thank you.
All right.
And round of applause for you. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I'll take that. I'll take that. I'm in my journey as well of accepting love. I'm not the best at accepting compliments and love. I give it a lot, but I can't receive it. Yeah. So I appreciate you for that.
Of course.
I just want to let you know that I received that 100%.
Oh, good.
Where can we get your book that you receive 100% profit?
So I'm not sure yet. I'm still figuring it out.
I want a copy, but I guess I'm a cash app you a bit more. You'll give you the direct cash. Can I do that?
I'm gonna give you one.
I'll take one, but then we're still gonna purchase one. How about that?
All right.
All right. So, are you good, cousin? Good. All right, ladies and gents, we have Marissa Hardy in the building. She came and blessed us today. Again, I just want to say thank you for coming out. Me and my team, aka me and my cousin, we are blessed to have you here. We're happy for you and your journey. Your journey does not stop here. It's going to go far and far and far. I'm pretty sure this won't be the last book.
No.
And I'm looking forward to watching those movies as well.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And that was another episode of You Good Digital with your boy Long Live Moshi. I got my cousin Oscar in the back, and we had the beautiful Marissa Hardy in the building. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to go cop that book. All right, y'all, we out.